We spent a lot of our time talking to leading global brands who are thinking about visual commerce and how to do product configuration and visual configuration in the right way. Today, I wanted to lay out the 9 most common complaints or problems that we hear from people who are using other product configurator vendors. The first problem is that there's been a lot of consolidation in the industry of visual commerce and product configuration. And that means a lot of these companies that were offering services before have now been acquired by bigger conglomerates. And often that means the teams are laid off or repositioned. And that can create a lot of pain if you're trying to get your product configurator updated or maintained. If the team isn't there to help, you've got a real challenge on your hands. Number 2 is a lot of these product configurators are what's known as a black box. So you, the end user of trying to make this product configurator or the brand, you don't have access to change the materials, models, or sort of end products. And if it's a black box and you're writing the email to get changes and you can't access the underlying 3D or code, that can be a huge problem. And so huge watch out there. Number 3 is bad support. Again, this comes back to this black box idea of, hey, I need changes done, but it's going to take weeks or months to get the changes done because I can't access it in a platform. And so I'm relying on a response to an email. That can be a big problem. Number 4 is security changes or not enterprise ready. So 3Kit here is ISO 27001 compliant. We've raised $65 million. We have teams all across the world for 24/7 support. Not all product configuration vendors have sort of that enterprise readiness, if you will, to serve some of the leading global brands, and 3Kit is built specifically for that. Number 5 complaint is, hey, the vendor that we chose just isn't really modern commerce ready. So 3Kit, again, is a headless, composable, API-driven platform, and a lot of the other vendors in the space aren't necessarily built that way, so it's a little bit more difficult to hook in the product configurator with your actual commerce systems, your ERP, your CPQ, your e-commerce, your retail technology, your email, your marketing technology. So super important you're thinking about your IT and your infrastructure to be modern, headless, API-driven. And if not, again, problem potential there. Another issue that we're hearing is with some vendors, they require that they own the 3D models. Huge problem if you ever want to leave that vendor and take those 3D models with you. If you don't own them, that's a lot of assets that you've built up, and that vendor might be able to just say, hey, you can't leave us. We've heard some horror stories about that. Number 7, if you're working with a vendor who can only offer just 3D or just 2D or just augmented reality, you really want to work with a vendor like 3Kit who can offer 3D, 2D, also known as virtual photographer, and augmented reality, because your customer wants and needs and how you want to show your product might change over time. So really go with a vendor who can go 3D, 2D, AR, however you want to show the product, we're with you. 2 more things on the list is a problem is UI UX with a lot of these vendors, right? So they're going to offer the same exact UI UX for every single one of their customers. And if you have a product that's unique, then you're going to want to show it in an environment online that is unique and let people explore your product in a way that makes sense for your brand and your customers, especially in industries like furniture, where some vendors are literally offering the same exact experience for dozens of furniture brands. And that can be a real problem. And finally, some people are saying, hey, look, my experience just isn't very performant. 3Kits offers this great product called Mesh Optimization, where you can improve the performance by up to 90%. So again, lots of reasons we end up talking to customers and prospects, and I think I just laid out 9 problems that we're typically seeing in the market. And if you want to learn more, feel free to reach out, 3kit.com.